what we just did was the core of the Cho practice in the sense that the beginning, so how we enter into the Cho practice, of which I found it's very important. Sometimes in a ritual, we are really get caught by the forms and what is elaboration and the kind of weirdness of the practice. It's weird, but the Chia practice is so true to, fundamentally so true to our psyche. And so that's why it's so effective in terms of healing. So we can talk more about that. We can explore more. And also, many of you have already been practicing Chia in different traditions. So you might have experience, a direct experience what this means. What so even what does it mean by katsu, ego grasping? and so I just want to say a few things before I go into this oral transmission. And so we did the meditation for setting the ground, then also clarify our intention in our own way. So we continue to that every time we sit, although even in a daily life, in the beginning of the day, or just to set to see what am I feeling and what's my intention. Sometimes intention is way more important than choices we make. Within the choices we make, important the intention and motive is the key, as you may know. And so whatever we do to set the clarified intention, keep doing that. Then we become more authentic, and we become more honest and greater honesty. And so sometimes we use spirituality as avoidance to avoid that part of us. Don't want to think about going into. But true practice, as we will see, we cannot avoid it. We cannot avoid true practice if we are looking for freedom and complete awakening. So you are here, some spark within you brought here. So I can kind of guess, and you are looking for that complete freedom and awakening, and complete awakening into your own authenticity. So, and become completely human and completely Buddha, awaken, both at the same time. True practice can do that. So that's kind of one of the amazing thing about the true practice. I have been doing for some time, but before I met true practice, I was doing a lot of practice, so-called Buddhist practices, very much like a mature approach and doing lots of practice. And I was caught by the forms, and of course itself has such a has a blessing and long histories, Buddhist practice. But until I met the Cho practice, when I met Cho practice, everything kind of wellspring of the who I am kind of started to grow up. In the sense that I have to talk a little bit about this Cho as a human and spiritual journey. So spiritual journey, but sometimes we have separate the spiritual journey from human journey. So I sit for half an hour on the cushion, then the rest of life, my human life, human journey. So, but in Cho practice, I found profundity of Cho practice is integrated everything in there. And so Cho practice is easy in the sense that because we are um, to practice is to become open up to everything, every experience in every given moment, right? And it's easy because we are already that. We are already open. We are already empty. And we are already who we are. That's the easy part. But the difficult part, it's difficult because it's scary. I don't know how you felt about the experience at the first section of the meditation. I kind of asked if you feel like standing on the edge of the cliff, on the verge of hauling off to the unknown. So that part is very scary because so that's why we usually shut down. Our reaction is usually shut down or not looking at or doing something else, distract ourselves by practicing Dharma. That's stretch. I don't know who is familiar with that. I'm so familiar with that one. Anyway, so but to practice is that one. So we are already open. And so that means that your practice includes everything, like psychologically, physically, and spiritually. So, mm, so because of that, Cho heals everything, healing power. Sometimes people talks about the Cho as a healing system and do a lot of healing practice, use Cho as a healing practice. That for me, I feel like two kinds of healing is done by Cho practice. One is exist, if I may use that term, existential wounds, like we have this separate self, like separate self from the great mother, who we are, but we are separated with time. So becoming intimate with the great mother, and when we eject the consciousness, when we usually like that, so shifting identification, and so that part of Cho really heal this existential wounds. And another wound we have, this is a psychological or emotional wound each of us have. And so that one usually by people in the West, they go to the psychotherapist and then we have a kind of relationship, healing through the relationship, like through the relationship, psychotherapy and client kind of situation. And but in Cho, it's we do that. We have that embedded in the Cho practice. Because if we establish that relationship between great mother and that part of you which are wounded, need healing, then that relationship become just like a psychotherapist and a client kind of relationship. It start healing start. So give the safe containers and the loving unconditional love container for that part of you. And then start relaxing and expressing itself, whatever they express. And then in the Cho practice, as you know, we give whatever this child wants, right? Mother, we give. So that healing starts. So Cho practice is a powerful practice, as you already know. And I don't need to say anything all these things, but I just wanted to get started. Yeah. So that sense we need a willingness and a courage to meet with dragon. Um, so so that's that.